Hello all. Thank you for taking the time to watch my presentation today. The essential question I did my research on was how do people learn, focusing on motivation. I wanted to dig deeper into the psychology of students and what drives their motivation. I feel that as future educators, it is important for us to understand the why before we can get to the how when it comes to helping our students be motivated. So there is two categories of motivation: intrinsic and extrinsic. Intrinsic refers to activities done for their own sake or for their inherent interest and enjoyment. Extrinsic motivation refers to doing something because it leads to a separable outcome. In education, there's some theories regarding motivation. Um, they're called implicit theories, and they've been linked with differential individual responses, especially when facing setbacks and being in stressful or demanding situations. It frames the student's mindsets also about the nature of a specific ability along a continuum of incremental and entity theory, and create distinct systems of meaning. So those are two categories here that kind of fall into the educational realm of motivation. So over the next two slides, I would like you all to take note and write down some of these characteristics that you feel you can relate to. So incremental theorists believe that abilities are malleable and can be increased by effort. They perceive achievement situations as opportunities to grow, use effort to overcome difficulties, attribute poor performance to lack of effort rather than ability. They tend to be more mastery oriented, recover quickly from failures, increase effort and value to tasks, and they have higher levels of self-regulation strategies. And that's incremental theorists. Entity theorists believe that abilities are innate and stable, such as a set of predetermined strengths and weaknesses or a fixed talent. They are concerned with evaluating their status of competence because they might possess a small or large amount of a specific ability. They are performance oriented and they tend to withdraw when challenges arise. They also exhibit helpless behaviors when faced with difficulties. I know that I have fallen into that category several times in my life when being a 44-year-old father and husband. School got tough with working full time and family responsibilities. I just kind of tended to stop going to school. So here I am at 44. So those are the two categories here in regards to motivational psychology for students, and I guess it could be for in anybody in general. So once I got to the through the two categories there, I found it kind of interesting on motivational tactics. Um, Praise is kind of something that's been kind of debated for a long time. So I found a good study and some good material to present here today about praise. Um, there, let me before kind of define it. Dweck, this was one of our papers we had in class, Perils and Promises of Praise. Praise is intricately connected to how students view their intelligence, where it's relatable to the theories, the implicit theories, is that some students believe that their intellectual ability is a fixed trait, which is an entity theorist. They have a certain amount of intelligence, and that's that. Students with this fixed mindset become excessively concerned with how smart they are, seeking tasks that will prove their intelligence and avoiding ones that might not. Other students believe that their intellectual ability is something they can develop through effort and education, which is an incremental theorist. When students believe that they can develop their intelligence, they focus on doing just that. They don't worry about how smart they will look. They take on challenges and stick to them. Praising or phrasing when praising, praising intelligence versus praising effort. I think we can all agree that praising is a good thing, but this study showed that it's the type of phrasing or praising that you give. So couple of phrases here. Praising intelligence phrase would be something like, you must be smart at these problems. And praising effort phrase is something like, you must have worked hard at these problems. Distinct difference there. And according to this next slide on the study that was done, had very different outcomes based off of that type of phrasing. So they Mueller and Dweck, they did a study of several fifth grade students. They had them work on tasks, and after the first set of problems, the teacher praised some of them for intelligence and others for their effort. And these were some of the findings they had. Praise for intelligence tended to put students in a fixed mindset, and praise for effort tended to put them in a growth mindset. When given a choice of doing a challenging task they could learn from or an easy task that they were sure to succeed in, most of the intelligence praised students chose the easy one, and most of the effort praised students chose the challenging task. Given a more challenging set of problems, students who had been praised for their intelligence lost their confidence in their ability and their enjoyment of the task as soon as they began to struggle with the problem, while the effort praised kids remained, on the whole, confident and eager. When the problems were made somewhat easier, the students who were praised for intelligence at the beginning did poorly. They lost their confidence and motivation, and as a group, they did worse than they had done initially on the same types of problems. So they had these same types of problems early in the study. Once they started to struggle, they could no longer get those. They did worse on the same exact stuff. The students praised for effort showed excellent performance and continued to improve. So in their conclusion, the research showed that educators cannot hand students confidence on a silver platter by praising their intelligence. Instead, we can help them gain the tools they need to maintain their confidence in learning by keeping them focused on the process of achievement. What drives student motivation? Daniel Pink wrote a book that discussed the three basic concepts for motivation in the workplace. And I got an article by Lori Phillips, who used these same concepts in an education setting. So the basis for motivation, which are autonomy, mastery, and purpose, are defined here in an educational context. So autonomy, provide learners with frequent and authentic opportunities to make choices and engage in critical thinking or design. So when designing learning opportunities, provide several choices for how learners may demonstrate understanding and adopt a collaboration or design thinking process and use it for problem solving / finding inside the classroom and beyond. Mastery. People generally want to get better at their work because it makes them feel good. Children must be able to demonstrate mastery of knowledge and essential skills through a variety of assessments, both written and performance-based. So some things that you can do for that is rethink assessment and grading systems. It goes into talking about report cards and working with students to make sure they understand rather than just a A or a B on a report card. Identify competencies to be mastered for progression to the next level. Develop opportunities for learners of all levels to demonstrate understanding in multiple ways. And here with the report card, understand differences between standards-based grading and mastery learning. Report cards don't tell the whole story unless the teacher and the student work together to make sure that competency is met before progressing. The third one is purpose. Why do we have to do this? When am I ever going to use this? Questions that kids ask teachers, and oftentimes the answer they receive is because it's important. This goes on to show that teachers don't help kids understand why it is important. So a couple of things that you can focus on is understanding the difference between inquiry, which is problem-based learning, versus project-based learning. Project-based learning is good way to help learners understand how something works or to bring a subject to life. However, it doesn't necessarily help them make real-world connections because projects are often artificial. Work with real-life examples. Link literature or social studies to more modern issues around relationships, wars, and political intrigue. Connect math lessons to the way professionals use the skills in their daily work, and help learners understand how science concepts impact the world around them. So now that we kind of have a better understanding of the psychology behind student motivation, I've put a few ways that we can implement them in our classrooms. Motivational tactics we can use are involving the student in the learning process, teach unfamiliar concepts by letting learners discover it for themselves, respond positively. Positive responses instead of reprimands will also help the student to maintain high self-esteem. Promote mastery learning, help the student break tasks up into manageable components and set goals for completing each step. Challenge and stimulate. Tasks should be designed to provide some level of success initially, leading the student to progressively difficult levels. The teacher's role is to assign tasks that the student finds challenging but is likely to succeed at. If tasks are too easy, the student is likely to become bored. Evaluate tasks, not students. Provide the student with feedback about the task accomplished. Give feedback regarding effort. That's also been found to enhance intrinsic motivation by helping students attribute successful outcomes. And praise, we went into that in depth, but verbal praise has been found to increase intrinsic motivation. All right, so back to what I asked for you all to write down. These are all of the characteristics of an incremental theorist and an entity theorist. This could help you become a better understanding of your own personal learning and motivational state of mind to help yourself out, as well as your students in the future. All right, and this is my reference page. So again, thank you for taking the time to watch this presentation. Have a great day.